It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in. And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they come back, they've got all the excuses. You can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Top Hit Tuesday on ZiFM Sport. This and every single weekday we deliver all the breaking news coming out of the world of sport. And at this time it is so easy to do because the greatest show on earth is underway and it's serving up some tasty encounters, shocking results, and also some that go according to the form book. We'll keep you appraised as to what's happening out there. Africa being represented right now by Senegal, who are taking on Poland, and it's looking good. In the studio, Mark Pozzo, Alice Bunjira will be joining us momentarily. My name is Barry Manandi, and on production, making sure that this show goes off the way that it's supposed to, is Sean Tafirenyika. But we always start on the home front, don't we, Taz?
We do indeed. We start with rugby, where Zimbabwe rugby head coach Peter de Villiers says the Sables have a lot of areas they need to fine-tune following their disappointing 23-all tie against Morocco in their opening game of the 2019 Rugby World Cup qualifiers. To football, 20 former footballers who include Patrick Kluivert, Gianluca Zambrotta and Fernando Morientes, along with Julio Baptista, jetted in, and they're all geared up to play against a Warriors legend side at the National Sports Stadium tomorrow in a high-profile exhibition match. In volleyball, the Zimbabwe Volleyball Association promotional playoffs ended at White City Stadium on Sunday, with Nust and Black Rhinos men's team sealing spots in this year's National League.
We got our normal international sports news roundup, and our Formula One report is a staple of the Tuesday show. Now, Valtteri Bottas says Mercedes cannot be considered the favourites for this weekend's returning French Grand Prix, admitting Ferrari's form means Formula One's world champions must improve all areas of their 2018 car. In rugby news, Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus is more than happy with the direction his side is heading in, but he knows that there is still a long way to go before catching up to the New Zealand All Blacks. And in cricket news, England are hopeful Ben Stokes will be available to play in their T20 series against India starting next month, while Chris Wokes has been ruled out until mid-July.
To the beautiful game we go to Russia, where Colombia got off to a nightmare start when Carlos Sanchez was sent off after less than 3 minutes of their 2-1 defeat to Japan. Gareth Southgate said England prepared perfectly for their 2-1 victory over Tunisia and asked his players for more of the same as he looked ahead towards their second game against Panama. And Neymar missed Brazil training following concerns about his left foot after Brazil's opening World Cup game, a 1-1 draw with Switzerland on Sunday.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
We start on the home front with rugby, where Zimbabwe's rugby coach Peter de Villiers says the Sables have a lot of areas they need to fine-tune following their disappointing 23-all draw against Morocco in their opening game of the 2019 Rugby World Cup qualifiers. Sables fly half Lenians Tambwewa missed a last-gasp pressure kick as Zimbabwe's bid to qualify for next year's Rugby World Cup got off to an exhilarating start. The result leaves the Sables, who face Kenya in their next match on the 30th of June, facing an uphill task in their quest to qualify for their first World Cup since 1991. Let's hear from Div, who said they missed chances which cost his side an important victory to mark the beginning of the Gold Cup.
Yeah, like you say, if you look at the quality of ball that you have, it's no use having the ball and there's no quality of getting front foot ball. So we're working hard on that. It did work so perfectly during the week, but then today, big bodies in front of us, and they didn't allow us to do what we want to do. So, but then again, you don't have any control over winning and losing, but but we didn't take our chances to control the game. So again, missed opportunities is the only thing that kept us back. You know what? If you're going to watch any test this morning, the All Blacks, there was poor decision making too. You don't get a perfect game. You don't get perfect decision making. That wasn't bad enough for us not to win the game. You know, it's how we gave them the opportunities to come into the game that make it more worrying factor for me, that we don't bite the bullet and look after the ball so that we can control it when we have the ball. We did control it mostly when they had the ball, but we couldn't control it as much when we had the ball.
Z.
Barry, looking at that game, I was at the stadium, and yes, you were indeed. You got to say that we made too many very simple errors, and one of them right from the beginning, I noticed as soon as we conceded the first penalty to Morocco.
Yep.
They went for posts, and if you look at where they went for posts from, it was virtually the halfway line.
Yeah.
The guy kicked it, and he got it over. So straight away, you say to yourself, okay, these guys have got some armor here because this guy can kick.
Yeah.
So first of all, you've got to then say, right, guys, we've got to watch our discipline here.
Yeah.
We've got to watch our discipline and not give away penalties, because you know what? They're going to go for 3 points every single time, no matter where it is, and they're going to get it.
100%.
And I think right from the beginning, I don't believe that we capitalized on that.
I'm going to agree with you and say that, yes, we should have watched our discipline as the first point. Then I think the second point should have been that we should have understood the opposition. I don't think we had a match plan that suited the opposition. I mean, you're talking about a team that had a lot of guys who play their rugby in France. Not necessarily the top tier, top 14.
Doesn't matter.
But they're playing second and third tier in France, meaning that these guys have some modicum of ability, but also they play French-style rugby. What's French-style rugby? It's very attritional. It's everything at the breakdown and phase play. So what we should have done is made the game very expansive, opened it up, make it running rugby against them, and then we would have been able to get them tired, because you could see that they weren't in the fitness stakes. They weren't even at the races. And so I think in that regard, our players weren't smart enough. And then the third point is that I felt that our team looked like they were under pressure. I don't know where the pressure was coming from, whether it was coming from management, whether it was coming from the fact that now all the resources are available to them, but it was a team under immense pressure, and that pressure was what caused them to make those elementary errors and fail to do the simple things first and properly. And I think we've also got some thoughts of our ZiFM Sports rugby pundit Gordon Pangetti, and he'll give us his thoughts on the game, and I'm sure that there'll be an alignment with exactly what you and I are saying, and this game shouldn't have gone this way.
Well, Zimbabwe played into Morocco's game plan. We were not clinical at times in some phases of the game. We should have run the ball more. We should have kicked behind their big lazy forwards, if I should call it. I did talk about how pedestrian they'll try and make the game go, and that's exactly, they executed their plan well. And I was kind of disappointed with PDV saying he was shocked by the size of these players. I mean, if you ask anyone in rugby circles, they'll tell you most of the North African teams, most of their players play in France. And if you watch top 14 rugby, you know how they play. So when we had the ball, we were quite effective moving it away from the big heavy forwards. But we didn't do enough of that on Saturday. And some of the combinations didn't strike it well for me. I think our 9-10 combination was a bit slow. You need a fiery scrum half to complement a steady fly off. Sometimes we were passing when we didn't have to pass, and that's what caused those turnovers, and it gave the Moroccans more confidence. And it's almost like we were playing away instead of having the feel of we're playing at home.
Z.
Absolutely well said by Gordon there. I completely agree. And pause, it's strange because Gordon is saying exactly the things that we were saying. You were talking about the fact that their game plan was to kick their way to victory, and also get into an attritional battle with the Sables, and that's exactly what they got. We didn't play into their game plan. It's very, very tragic, and I think Div has got a lot of work to do here.
Yes, he's got a lot of work to do, but I also look back at that last penalty of the game, which could have sealed a victory for Zimbabwe. I believe that should have been converted.
Yeah, you stick that in. Yeah, it's a pressure kick, we know. But if you are playing international rugby, you stick those ones away. You've got to deliver. 0731-168-045. Let us know your thoughts on what is happening in the world of sport. We're talking the Sables. They flattered to deceive, and hopefully that we can recover some sort of semblance of respectability in this campaign, because I think qualification is out of the door.
Hi, I'm Peter de Villiers, the national coach for Zimbabwe Rugby, and you are listening to ZiFM Sport.
Zimbabwe. Div in the studio.
Pause, behave yourself, man. Anyway, we're talking football now, where 20 former footballers, who include Patrick Kluivert, Gianluca Zambrotta, Fernando Morientes and Julio Baptista jetted in and are all geared to play against Warriors legends at the National Sports Stadium tomorrow in a high-profile exhibition match. Remember, the game is on tomorrow. The exhibition match, which is aimed at promoting tourism in Zimbabwe, is being organized by the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority in conjunction with the Sports Ministry. The ZTA have picked the country's biggest teams, Dynamos and Highlanders, to play in a curtain raiser in order to draw numbers to the giant stadium, where supporters will also enjoy free entrance. I think the ZTA has got two things, right? Highlanders and Dynamos have got lots of entertainment lined up, and then of course the exhibition match will follow. So we spoke to Head of Corporate Affairs at ZTA, that's Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, Godfrey Korti, and he says expectations are for the match tomorrow are high surrounding this game.
As the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, in our bid to market the country to the outside market, which is the international market, we decided to engage with the football legends. We have the likes of Julio Baptista, we have the likes of Ed Nielsen, we have the likes of Patrick Kluivert, we have the likes of Morientes. If you remember, he played for Liverpool at some point, and then he played for Real Madrid as well. He's in the country as well to come and play in this match. We've got from the Zimbabwean side, we've got the likes of Harlington Shereni. We've got the likes of Martin Danjovu. We've got the likes of Ronald Gipiza Sibanda. These are household names that will be taken to the field for one more time. And a couple of other surprise features, that we'll see. Hopefully, Mike and Barry may have a chance to play as well. But those are the players that we are looking at that will play in this particular encounter.
If they give me a chance to play, yes, please.
Oh, yeah.
I would love that. Are you playing tomorrow, Alice?
Yeah, I am.
Fantastic. Shucks, it'll be good to see you pull on the bootstraps again. I know you play at weekends, but nobody gets to see you, so we want to see you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be like memorable, trooping out of the...
How's about this, Alois, strike partnership? Alois Bunjira and Barry Menandi.
That would be cool, but unfortunately they'll probably say, is the ZiFM Sport playing?
Exactly. But it's all happening tomorrow. Kickoff is 3 p.m. tomorrow at the National Sports Stadium. Curtain Raiser 2, that's kicking off at about 12:30. Will be Dynamos taking on Highlanders. So there's lots to look forward to at the giant National Sports Stadium, as it is called. And also this match will be broadcast on Manchester United TV, Barcelona TV, and Real Madrid TV, and also on social media platforms, and the projected audience is of about a combined 1 billion. So it's going to be a pretty big event that's going to take place. So if you want to be on any one of these TV stations, you need to be at the stadium so that the camera picks you up. Get down to the stadium. I understand there's also entertainment. Winky D is going to be there, and a few other artists.
At 9 a.m. I heard.
That's fantastic. 9 a.m. gates will open, so make your way down to the National Sports Stadium. I certainly will be there, whether on the field or in the stands. I will be there to watch this. It should be absolutely exciting, because you're Julio Baptista, ex-Arsenal player, and then you got Fernando Morientes, ex-Liverpool player. So
put your money on me. I'm going to score.
You're going to score?
Come on, Bunch.
Shucks.
Put your money on me.
Should we put a flutter on that?
Put your money on me.
Nah, you know what I saw in Bulawayo of Alois Bunjira, I'm not going to put money on it. He will score. This man, his movement in the boxes is actually something to behold. So that is all happening courtesy of ZTA, and kudos to Godfrey Korti and the team out at the ZTA. Of course, Karigoga Kasege, the CEO, for putting this all together. We will be there in support of our Warriors legends. They're getting more and more games and long may it last. We'll be back momentarily straight after this, and we're talking volleyball. Yes, I said it, volleyball, some cricket, and of course there's some athletics news of the road running type.
Zimbabwe's finest free. ZiFM Stereo.
We move on with the rest of our local sports news roundup. We'll start with volleyball. The Zimbabwe Volleyball Association promotional playoffs ended at White City Stadium on Sunday, with Nuston Black Rhinos men's team sealing spots in this year's National League. ZVA National League is a competition that started in 2012, replacing the club championships, which were played using a tournament format over 1 week. And the league draws elite clubs from around Zimbabwe in both genders to fight for the right to represent the country in the regional Zone 6 club championships. To cricket, former Zimbabwe cricket captain and coach Heath Streak has been roped in by Cricket Scotland as a consultant for a short 8-day period. Streak will join Scotland during the ongoing T20 International Series in the Netherlands, also involving Ireland. Streak, who picked up 216 wickets from 65 test matches and 239 wickets from 189 one-day internationals for Zimbabwe, comes off a stint with the Calcutta Knight Riders in the Indian Premier League IPL 2018, where he was involved with the franchise as the bowling coach, a role he had performed previously with the Bangladesh national team as well. To athletics, and online registration for the 2018 Econet Victoria Falls Marathon has closed, and local registration will be done from June the 29th through to the 30th. The marathon comprises the 42.2 kilometre full marathon, a 21.1 kilometre half marathon, and a 7k fun run, which will be held on the 1st of July in the resort town. The race starts from Zim Post car park, proceeds to Victoria Falls border along Livingston Way, briefly crossing the bridge between Zimbabwe and Zambia, and then back.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play. From sunny Melbourne to the streets of Monaco, the deserts of Bahrain to the jungles of Brazil, get up to speed on the Formula One report.
Okay, we'll be giving you our Formula One report momentarily, but we need to give you this update of the match that's currently underway. 68 minutes played in the match between Poland and Senegal out in Russia, and the score is presently Poland 0, Senegal 2.
Yes,
so
get in there.
Team Africa is well on its way, and I can tell you now that Sadio Mane hasn't got onto the score sheet, and that's because Senegal is playing with a level of swagger that I haven't seen in an African side in a long time. Their coach Aliou Cisse has done a phenomenal job. This is a team that we can all back as African. In terms of Team Africa, I think Senegal is out in front.
Yeah, give me some props, man. Give me some props.
100%.
You know, before the tournament even started, I said it. Senegal, they look, you know, when you watch them play in the friendly matches before the tournament, they looked solid.
Yep.
And I actually say that they are our Africa, our hope.
They're carrying
for Africa.
And
but
indeed,
they are doing it the way they are playing. They're actually bossing them field around. They're actually bossing them around.
They're bossing a
the
Polish
arrogance
side.
And all that. Yeah, they're actually doing it with style. Yeah.
Quite credible, this Polish side. It's not a Mickey Mouse team at all.
Not
it's
at
got
all.
the prodigious talent.
They're actually the top team in the top ranked team in the
group. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're being pushed around like they're nothing by a Senegal team that is well at the race. We'll keep you appraised as to what's happening in that match. Yeah, pause, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just to bring you up to speed with a world record which has just taken place, because the third ODI between England and Australia, wow, what a score. We are 45.5 overs in.
Yeah.
England, 449 for 3.
That is a
so
test
that
match
is
score.
The men's world record has gone again, and Alex Hales brought it up with a 6. So he's moved on to 143 not out of 87 balls. Captain Owen Morgan is 64 of just 25 deliveries. So
That's fantastic.
449 for 3. It's going to be a lot bigger than that.
Sure. Absolutely fantastic, and still 4 or so overs to go in that match. And like we say on ZiFM Sport, we are on the pulse of everything happening in the world of sports. So we're supposed to be taking in our Formula One report, but we had to give you an update out of Russia and give you an update in the cricket as well. Now, let's do the Formula One report, where Valtteri Bottas says Mercedes cannot be considered the favourites for this weekend's returning French Grand Prix, admitting Ferrari's form means Formula One world champions must improve all areas of their 2018 car. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff described Sebastian Vettel's serene victory at the last race in Montreal as a wake-up call for his defending four-time champions. On a weekend, they had to delay their planned engine upgrade. It's a different Grand Prix, different kind of tyres, and it's positive. We're going to have the new engine, which we would have needed in Canada to win the race, said Bottas, who finished second to Vettel in Montreal. Hopefully, we can have some other upgrades as well on the car, because every team is developing now race by race, and the competition is getting tougher. This is Mercedes admitting that, you know what, we may not have the best car on the grid. Yeah, we're a touch faster, but Ferrari is well at the races.
Absolutely. I mean, you just got to look at the constructors' title. I mean, we'll come to the points shortly, but they're getting closer to Mercedes with every race, and I think we've said it time and time again. This is no longer a one-horse race.
Yeah, no longer a one-horse race at all, and all the drivers are feeling the heat, and the world champions are hopeful of introducing their second-generation 2018 engines at Paul Ricard. But while optimistic of improvement from the W09, Bottas says Mercedes have to raise their game. Take us through the standings. You alluded to them just now, Pos.
Yeah, let's look at the driver's standings, and Sebastian Vettel just leads Lewis Hamilton by just one. Valtteri Bottas on 86 points. So victory for him in the next Grand Prix could certainly make the drivers' standings very interesting indeed. Danny Ricciardo is also in the mix on 84 points, but then you drop down to number 5, Kimi Raikkonen, Max Verstappen, and then Fernando Alonso, who of course won the Le Mans this last weekend. In the Constructors' Championship, it's Mercedes leading it on 206 points, Ferrari second on 189, Red Bull on 134.
ZiFM Stereo is untouchable.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
All right, we start off in South Africa. Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus is more than happy with the direction his side is heading in, but he knows that there is still a long way to go before catching up to New Zealand's All Blacks. The Boks have dished up two hugely encouraging performances against England over the past fortnight, and they now head into the third and final test in Cape Town on Saturday with an element of freedom. Erasmus has already confirmed that he will be making 4 or 5 changes. Switzerland, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, says it has opened a probe into the Caster Semenya's challenge of controversial new IAAF rules on testosterone occurring in female athletes. CAS said it had registered a request for arbitration filed by the South African two-time Olympic gold medalist against the International Association of Athletics Federations and eligibility regulations for female classification that are due to come into effect on November the 1st, 2018. To England now. England are hopeful Ben Stokes will be available to play in their T20 series against India starting next month, while Chris Wokes has been ruled out until mid-July. The pair's absence from the remainder of the one-day international series against Australia has been confirmed, with Wokes' right quad tear, which he sustained at Headingley in the second test against Pakistan earlier this month, at least in part due to a flare-up of a chronic right knee problem. Germany. Now, Japan's Kei Nishikori had to fight through a tiebreaker to start his grass season with a win as he beats Matthias Bashinger in the ATP Hall tournament, the 7th seed, who has twice played semi-finals at the event, worked for just 90 minutes to beat the 159th ranked German opponent 6-3, 7-6 to reach the second round. That is your sport in 60.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. Jogo Bonito, Tiki Taka, Catenaccio, Total Football. It's a football celebration where only the best are invited. Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Salah, Mane. The stars come out to play on your Russia 2018 World Cup update on ZiFM Sport.
Right, we start our World Cup report in Group H, where it finished Colombia 1, Japan 2. Carlos Sanchez was shown the second fastest red card in World Cup history as Colombia slipped to a 2-1 defeat in their World Cup opener against Japan. The Group H favourites suffered a nightmarish start to their campaign when Sanchez blocked Shinji Kawara's shot with his arm after just 2 minutes and 56 seconds, prompting the referee to brandish the first straight red card for handball at a World Cup since Luis Suarez was sent off against Ghana in 2010. Kagawa was then put to Japan ahead from the penalty spot, but even with 10 men, Jose Perkaman was able to make his side competitive and won. Quintero levelled with a free kick 6 minutes before half-time. Akira Nishono's men came into the tournament as one of the lowest-ranked teams, but they defied their position by making good use of their man advantage and fully deserved to have their lead restored when Kölner forward Yua Osaka headed the winner in the 73rd minute. A good performance, Bunj, from Japan. Colombia obviously getting that man sent off, but very ordinary indeed.
Yeah, they didn't look sharp, and I think that when I watched the Senegal and Japan, yes, Japan won 3 points, valuable points. But I'm African and I'm for Senegal. When I watched that match, I actually thought, even if Senegal loses to Poland, they can still beat these two. And now that they're actually beating Poland, they can actually top this group.
Yeah.
Because for me, these two teams, Colombia and Japan, they didn't give me much to actually talk about them.
Coming back to that game, the Colombia-Japan game, for me, I think that Colombia actually shot themselves in the foot. I think the ultimate result, and we discussed it earlier with Mike when we were watching it at the office, we were talking about the fact that the best result out of this game would have been, for Senegal obviously, the best result out of this game would have been a draw. And we were hoping that it would end in the fashion that it would end 1-1. But for me, Colombia, for them to handle on the line, trying to save a goal-bound effort in the 3rd minute. I think what you're doing is it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
You've still got nearly 87 minutes to get back into the game. And if they had stayed as 11 men, I would think to myself, yes, Pause, I agree with you. They looked very ordinary. But with 11 men on the field,
you never know what would have happened.
I think they would have actually won this match. But they did themselves a disfavor.
Cape United did the same. Perry, you remember Prosper, the goalkeeper?
Yeah.
First minute, he commits a foul play to avoid a goal.
Yeah.
He handles the ball outside his box.
Mm-hmm.
He's sent off. And for 8 and 9 minutes, the team plays with
10 men.
Against a team they could have beaten even if they had scored first.
Yes.
There are a lot of times when you concede a goal first, you come back, you win 4-1.
Yeah.
It happens. So it's same thing with Colombia. That was so, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go in.
Yeah, let it go
fight
in.
back with your 11 men.
100%.
But I mean, even when he brought on James Rodriguez, of course, he won the Golden Boot in 2014. He brought him on in the second half, but you can see he hasn't really fully recovered from his injury, and he really wasn't allowed much of the ball.
Yeah, Mark, against 11 men, when you are 10, if you are not well organized, it's not going to be easy, even with a star player, especially if the team that you are playing against gets organized and play good football. You can never. It's like playing against Barcelona with 10 men.
Yeah.
You are dead.
Yeah, and this Japan side are no mugs whatsoever. They I saw them shift Colombia around. I saw them move the ball very quickly.
Once the ball starts moving quickly,
it was
you're one man down.
They didn't have a shout, and for me, I think, and I agree with you, Paz, that calf injury that James Rodriguez suffered, he hasn't recovered from that, and fair dues, he wasn't picked from the start, but Peckerman realized that now that he was down to 10 men, now that he was down,
they needed him. They needed his energy, but unfortunately, it was not going to be, because with one man down, it's not easy.
It was never going to be, and now Senegal, it's all to play for. Just an update out of that game. 85 minutes played. It's still Senegal 2, Poland 0. Just now, Senegal had a penalty shout waved away by the referee, a bit of handbags, and we're watching the replay of that penalty shout now, and to me it looked like a stonewall penalty. Player pushed the ball on, and the defender swept the feet of the player away, but the VAR is not going to review that one, so it remains Senegal 2, Poland 0. But like you were saying, Bunj, this opens up the group, but opens up the group for Senegal.
Yeah, it opens up the group for Senegal. I think Senegal are going to be comfortable. They look at Colombia. The beauty of it, Colombia with 11 men, they can give a match to Poland. Poland are not going to have it easy. So these other teams are going to play against each other.
No, it was a dive. It was a dive.
It was a dive.
It was a dive. It was a dive. We've watched a different angle on that penalty shout for Senegal. It was a dive. He didn't even touch the player. He just went over. So good decision by the on-field referee there.
Yeah. So for Senegal, it's actually a good thing now. The other three teams that are going to take points from each other. I'm looking at if they finish top of the group, they might just get a weaker opponent in the last
round of 16.
So it's actually quite good. It's not good to finish second in these first round matches because you're going to face the top teams.
But hold the phone, hold the presses at the newspaper. Poland has just pulled one back. They have just pulled one back. A header coming at the far post, and again, it is a case of it's game on. And
lapse in concentration, Africa.
It's gonna bring that goal scored by Grigor Krykowiak, a player who was touted as probably one of the best things to happen to European football. He is, of course, a player on the books of Paris Saint-Germain. It was a set piece yet again, and we're going to discuss that momentarily. Grigor Krykowiak rising at the far post and scoring that on for Poland. Now 2-1 in favor of the Poles. And let's talk, guys. Let's talk about the issue to do with set pieces. We've seen it happen to every single African team at the World Cup. Now, here's my problem with that, guys. There was a FIFA report that was released before the World Cup that spoke about the fact that African sides struggled with set pieces. They talked about the fact that between the two 18 areas, the defensive 18 area and the attacking 18 area, there's nothing between the sides. Africa can match any team that is at the World Cup at the moment. When we get into that box, the 18-yard area, and it is a set piece, that's where Africa starts having problems, mainly because of our inability to head the ball defensively. And we've seen it time and time again already in the matches that we've seen. And this is the last African side to feature, and yet again conceded from a set piece.
We've seen it happening, Barry. We have seen it happening, and I've got first-hand experience with that kind of situation. I've had teammates, players from the opposition that were proudly saying, I don't we spoke of about Ifans Gwekwere, national team striker, who proudly said, my head around the net. This is the problem we have in Africa. We don't train heading. And Benjani was here 2 months ago. We talked about it. He was talking about academy, his boys in the academy in the UK. He was saying the same thing, that the problem with Africa, the Europeans have already talked about it extensively, that Africans can't head the ball. But it's one of the most important aspects of football, especially with development. Why? Because it's not natural. You are not a natural header. Everyone, when we were born, we were not natural headers of the ball. We have to develop it, unlike skills that can just come out naturally. So we don't do it in Africa.
So pause. If a FIFA report comes out and the FIFA report says explicitly that African football has come up in leaps and bounds in terms of what we can do in the middle of the park, but we can't defend set pieces, why aren't the technical directors of various African countries and the academy directors of various African countries and the academy directors here in Zimbabwe not getting into a room and beginning to discuss how we can fix this thing? Because we've seen it's a massive problem.
Absolutely, but what makes me laugh is a lot of these coaches of these African sides, especially at the World Cup, are foreign coaches. So why are they not
fixing it?
Fixing it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's bizarre.
I think the problem. See now, Mark. The problem is these African coaches. They are handling players that have been wrongly developed from a young age. Now he is at a senior level. He can't be teaching this guy how to head the ball. This thing needs to start when the boy is 5 years old, so that it becomes, Mike was talking about muscle memory. This is where it comes in. When you do it over and over and over again, it becomes a system. It becomes it's in your blood. Yes. Now you know how to head, because it's not something that you are born with. Heading is not a skill that you are born with. You actually practice, do it, whether you like it or not. And just do it. We don't do it. Actually, in Zimbabwe, it's even futile because we don't even have the academies to talk about. We don't have development to talk about. Where are these kids gonna be taught how to head that ball? So we have a problem, and Africa has a problem. I'm sure by now they know that, you know what, this is our problem. We need to fix it.
Yeah,
but where do we start? Under 8.
Yes, that's exactly where.
So we are behind. We are 10 years behind.
At least.
At least 10 years.
Right, just to bring you up to speed, where there is 4 minutes of stoppage time in the second half. So we're into the final 4 minutes of stoppage time. It is Senegal 2. The opposition, of course, being Poland 1. So it looks like if Senegal can hold on, but here come Poland on the attack. It looks like it's going to be sent away for a corner.
Will the Pharaohs rule in Russia? Will the Carthage Eagles swoop to victory? Will the Lions of Teranga roar? Will the Super Eagles soar? Or will the Atlas Lions snap their way to victory? Africa, do you believe?
Right, it's getting agonizingly close. A good take from the keeper from the corner. And Senegal just need to calm themselves down and hold on to the ball into the last 3 minutes. Right, Gareth Southgate said England prepared perfectly for their 2-1 victory over Tunisia and asked his players for more of the same as he looked ahead to their second World Cup match against Panama. Harry Kane's goal in each second half stoppage time ensured England took all 3 points from their Group G opener, and Southgate praised his substitutes for adding energy and threat late in the game. After Kane opened the scoring in the 11th minute, England were guilty of wasting a number of first half chances to extend their lead before Vajanji Sassi levelled from the penalty spot. Let's hear from the man of the match, double tot Harry Kane.
Yeah, I think that's up there at the top for sure. Like I've said, going into this biggest competition in the world, I've been so excited to kind of get started, nervous as well. So yeah, obviously great to get the first goal quite early in the game, and then obviously had to wait to the last minute for the second one. So brilliant from the lads. Just delighted with the win. Yeah, obviously I've been that fan. I've been in the pubs watching it. I know what it's like, especially when you score a last minute goal. So yeah, to be here and do it and send all the fans here home happy, and obviously all the ones back home watching. Yeah, I'm sure everyone will sleep well tonight.
All 3 points for England. Of course, the man of the moment, Harry Kane. But boy, did England miss chances. Jesse Lingard, how many chances did he need?
Missed lots and lots of chances. But the one positive that they'll take from that is that they were creating those chances. So I think England will be smiling after this. They laboured to that victory.
Yeah, they did create chances, and some of the chances I didn't expect them. You can't miss at that level.
Yeah.
You can't miss John Stones. You can't miss that.
And miss the whole ball.
The whole ball completely. And the commentator was like, he actually hit fresh air.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. At that level, you can't miss that. That ball is big. No, you can't miss a size.
Happy for Harry Kane, though. I think that getting 2 goals in that match, I think will set him in good stead for the rest of the tournament, because you got to think to yourself, England are good for a quarter-final spot, and if they go deeper than that, Harry Kane will be there in the shout for the top goal scorers.
Oh, most definitely. But I must say, when the England starting 11 came out last night, I thought, wow, Gareth Southgate. Let me tell you now, you've got some. Because he basically went with a very, very inexperienced defence.
Yes.
And you know what? It actually paid off.
Yeah.
You know what? He decided, I'm not going to play Gary Cahill. I'm not going to play the old guard. I'm going to play young players.
Yep.
And I'm going to blood them right now.
John Stones, Harry Maguire as a centre-half pairing. And for me, Harry Maguire played well. I mean, it's his first World Cup game. And for me, he looked a bit nervous in patches, but you can see what Gareth Southgate is trying to do. He wants to have ball-playing centre-halves so they're able to play from the back. And when Harry Maguire settles in that team, you can see that he's going to be a good player for them.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely a good player, and I think he also benefits from John Stones playing for Manchester City. So he's being taught how to play the ball from the back. It was unusual for John Stones. Before, the John Stones of old wasn't a ball player.
You're right.
But he is now a ball player. So I think the national team is also.
I thought Hendo was outstanding.
Hendo was phenomenal.
He was phenomenal.
I was watching mini-me of Steven Gerrard. He was phenomenal. Yeah, game is over.
Final whistle has gone, and it has gone in favour of Senegal. It's finished Senegal 2, Poland won.
Absolutely, and congratulations to Senegal. They have done us proud, have scored the first goal from open play by an African nation and also recorded the first set of full 3 points by an African nation. Well done, boys.
Right, Belgian boss Roberto Martinez thought his team produced a mature display as the Red Devils defeated Panama 3-0 in their opening World Cup match. Belgium, fancied by many to reach the latter stage of the competition, toiled against the Group A G minnows during a frustrating first half in Sochi. Martinez's men improved after half-time, though, with Dries Mertens making the breakthrough at the start of the second half before Romelu Lukaku's double gave the Belgians breathtaking space. Yep, they look good, boys.
Yeah.
They did struggle.
In
They
certain areas.
did struggle in the first half, yes. But I give it to them. You know, first round matches, the first matches of the World Cup, they're always tense, and the smaller teams, they always have this adrenaline going on, and you will see the heavy score lines in the second round of matches.
Yes.
You know, when the reality sinks in now that we are at the World
We're in a
Cup.
tournament.
We're in a tournament. Yes, that's
Let's
when
play our football.
Let's play football. That's when these smaller teams are going to get hammered. But well done.
So this is a very good start by Belgium.
Very good start by Belgium, but De Bruyne, that assist.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, my goodness.
outfoot cross. That
Phenomenal.
boy is good.
He's special. He
And
really is special.
He's in my fantasy team.
Whatever. But I want to just put my hand up here. And listen, we gave Bobby Martinez a lot of stick on the show here about the fact that perhaps he's not experienced at this level. But what that showed me against Panama, when you can only beat and play against what's put in front of you. And Panama was put in front of him, and he delivered the results. A 3-0 victory over Panama is exactly what a team like Belgium needs to be recording if they're going to go deep into this tournament.
Yeah, but you remember when we talked about Martinez, we were talking about his success earlier. He doesn't have something to hold on to say, I did ABC for me to be here. So we said it. The World Cup is his chance to actually gain that, gain our confidence, make us believe in him. And he has done well in the first half. So we want to see how far Belgium goes. We want to go back and say, but you know what? Belgium did well because he has never been in a big position like this. He has never achieved much, but he can actually start doing it with Belgium.
I'm particularly happy for Thierry Henry. Tonight, it's Group A. We're into the second round of fixtures. It's Russia taking on Egypt at 8 p.m. tonight. And Egypt forward Mohamed Salah is the name on everyone's lips as Russia attempt to virtually secure their place in the knockout stages of the World Cup in St. Petersburg tonight.
It is confirmed that Salah will start.
Salah definitely, they can't afford. Now they're risking. It's a do or die.
Yeah.
You can't just say we are reserving him for what?
Yeah.
Because if they lose now today, they're out. So they actually need him. Whether he's got one leg and one arm, he's gonna play.
He's gonna play.
He will play.
He's gonna have to feature for the Pharaohs of Egypt. Some quick updates there, pause before we go.
Yeah, Neymar missed Brazil training yesterday following concerns about his left foot after Brazil's opening World Cup game, a 1-0 draw with Switzerland. The forward was fouled 10 times in the game, which was his first competitive match since February when he fractured the fifth metatarsal in his right foot, an injury that ended his club campaign early and required surgery. Manuel Neuer does not believe Germany need to change their starting lineup in response to their 1-0 defeat to Mexico on Sunday. That's news coming out of the German camp. Manchester City expect to complete the £46.5 million signing of Napoli midfielder Jorginho this week, according to Sky in Italy. And former Juventus goalkeeper Gianluigi Buffon will complete his move to Paris Saint-Germain in the next few days, according to Sky. The 40-year-old Italy legend, who left Juventus after 17 years at the end of the season, has been in talks over joining the French League One champions since May.
Thanks, Boz. Nice one. And thank you for listening. We'll catch you tomorrow for our Wacky Wednesday show. May God richly bless you. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Manande, out.
Be sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.